Brilliant. So we just wanted to run through some basics on school attendance with you this evening. Obviously, if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to pop them in the chat, but otherwise there will be an opportunity at the end for you to be able to ask any questions. So I think really it's important when we talk about school attendance to understand what that actually means in real terms. So if you could go to the next slide. So when we look at school attendance, I think it's really important as parents and carers that you understand why we are so passionate about making sure that attendance is as high as possible. Now, based on the research, actually, the better a child's school attendance is, the more likely they are to get good outcomes at GCSE. And hopefully, on the next couple of slides, we'll make it a little bit clearer why that is. But obviously, ultimately, our job is to get your children to where they want to be, whether that's in 5 years or 7 years, and give them everything that they need to be able to do that, so that they've got the best possible options when they finish their GCSEs at Cox Green. Obviously, then that gives them choices post 16 and then better opportunities for the future. But on top of all of those things, we're not just about academic success at Cox Green. Actually, children being in school regularly can also help to develop their social skills and their emotional resilience, and then prepare them for adulthood and the world of work. Now, there's a nice little graph on that page for any of you that can see it. Actually, what that shows you is the number of GCSEs children are likely to get based on their attendance at their time at school. If children's attendance averages out over the 5 years at 90%, they're likely to get 9 or more GCSEs. Actually, when that starts falling to 80% attendance, they're only likely to get almost or just under 5, so it can have quite a big impact over time. Yeah, next slide, please. So one of the things when I speak to parents about attendance that often they get a little bit confused about is actually a lot of people, if we said to you that your child got 90% on the spelling test, we'd probably be quite happy with it. But because the school year is quite short in comparison to the actual calendar year, and we've only got 190 school days, taking any time off can actually quite quickly have a significant impact on those overall attendance figures. Now, you might hear us use some terms tonight. So one of the terms that you may hear is persistent absence, and that's for any attendance that is below 90%. And this is really what we are aiming for, is children to have attendance above 90%. 90% attendance over 5 years in school is actually the equivalent of your child taking half a year off over the course of that 5 years. When attendance then falls down to 80%, it's actually the same as them missing a whole year of school over the 5 years that they're with us. So that can really quickly add up. And I'm sure all of you here this evening wouldn't dream of taking your child out of school for a whole year and then expect them to do as well in their GCSEs. So it's just important to remember actually that every single day counts, because otherwise those days quickly add up. It's also really important to remember that punctuality can have quite a big impact. If your child is 5 minutes late each day to school, over the course of a year, that's 3 days off. And I won't read through the whole table for you, but actually 10 minutes late over a course of the year means they've lost 19 days in school. And that's a big amount of learning that those young people are missing out on. You could do next slide. Now, lots of children will get ill over their time in school, unfortunately, when we mix 1,200 children together, particularly after summer holidays and in the winter months where all of the germs are quite easily spread. They will sometimes become unwell. What we ask is for parents to use your judgment. You know your child and you know whether they are going to be able to manage a whole day in school. Now, if you think, oh, I'm not sure, but they'll probably be fine for 4 or 5 hours if they had a little bit of Calpol or some paracetamol. Please remember that we have a student services team in school who will support if a child does feel unwell during the day, and we can hold medication if this is going to help them manage a little bit better. If you're interested in doing that, next time you drop your child off to school, or they can pop to student services themselves, they just need to ask for a medication form. You can fill that in, and then we can keep hold of that medication for them and just give it to them as and when they are feeling unwell. It's also important to think about medical appointments. Now, we all know, we work in schools, we know full well that it can be quite hard to get appointments outside of school time or in the holidays, but if possible, please do try and do that. And if your child does need to go out for medical appointments, all we ask is that we have a copy of the GP text message or a letter to confirm what the appointment is for, just so that we can update our records and make sure that your child isn't being marked as an unauthorised absence when actually they need to go to the doctors. We do next slide. So we talk about good attendance, and good attendance is over 90%. Bad attendance actually adds up quite quickly, and those regular days off, we really do need to work with you to try and figure out why children are having time off and address those issues quickly. Need to look if there are patterns. Sometimes it might be that they've got a lesson that they don't like, or a group that they're not enjoying being in. And we need to try and work out what the reasons for not wanting to come into school are. Because actually, if you look at that table on the PowerPoint, 90% attendance is the equivalent of your child taking 1 day off a fortnight, or missing half a year of school between year 7 and 13. 80% attendance is 37 days off school each year, and that's the equivalent of 1 day a week, or missing a whole year of school between year 7 and 11. And sometimes when children do dip lower than that, something like 60% would be the equivalent to taking 2 days off a week, or missing 2 years of school between year 7 and 11. So it can very, very quickly add up to then have a negative impact on your child in the future. So what we've done is we've worked with the SAFE team, myself, Miss Cottington, and other staff in school, just to think about some things that might help you if your child is struggling with their attendance. I think it's really important as parents to be able to have open and honest conversations. We can't play detectives with you if we can't speak to the children and you can't understand what's going on with them. So it's really important that you support your child, that you listen to them, but then also trying to come up with ideas and solutions on getting over any worries that they might have. Please remember that worrying about things is normal, but it's not normal if it gets to the point where they're worried about them coming into school. It's really important that you communicate with us so that support can be put in place. Miss Cottington will go through some of the different things that we do in school to support with attendance later, so that you're all aware. But actually, please let us know if you are becoming concerned. We obviously will be in contact if we're concerned, but you see them every day, whereas Miss Cottington might only see them once a week. So if you have got any worries, please let the school know. You can contact Miss Cottington directly, or you can contact through your SAFE manager. Actually, we just want the young people in school. It's really important for young people to have routines. We know that any time a fire alarm goes off or something changes in their school day, but that can work at home as well really well. We'll remember when your children were tiny and you used to have a set bedtime routine and a set routine in the morning. If your child is anxious or worried about coming to school, it's really important to have those routines even though they're a little bit older, because that will really help them to get settled in the evening and have a good night's sleep, and in the morning hopefully make things a little bit easier for you getting them up and ready to come to school. We'll talk about sleep hygiene in a second, but actually it's also worth remembering that children like rewards. You probably all had those sticker charts when they were little on the fridge. If they are struggling with attendance, could you give them something to look forward to at the end of a full week, something in the holidays that they can actually look forward to if they are managing them to come in every day? And then at the end of the holidays, we often find families can struggle with getting children back into school. It's really important that you start putting those routines in place in the last week or so of the holidays, just to start getting them used to getting up at a more normal time for school and making sure that they've got all of the equipment and the resources that they need to come back. So I said we'd talk about sleep hygiene. These are just some ideas that hopefully will help you. This presentation and the recording of this session will go onto the school website in the next couple of days, but just so that there's some things for you to think about. So really important for good sleep hygiene that you go to sleep and wake up at the same time. Depending on the age of your child, they will need different amounts of sleep and different lengths of time asleep. So please make sure that you're aware of what is relevant for your young person. Giving children 5 or 10 minutes just before they go to bed, just to do some deep breathing exercises, something relaxing, will help them drift off a little bit better. And that can all be formed and created as part of a nice bedtime routine for them. There's lots of research at the moment on the use of mobile devices. The government and the NHS actually recommend switching off all devices, so that includes televisions, at least an hour prior to going to bed. Now, the reasons for that are the lighting on the phones and on digital devices can actually affect children's sleep patterns. So if you can prise the mobile phones off them for an hour before bedtime, I would recommend doing that because it will help them settle down. Also really important not to have anything with caffeine, no energy drinks after lunch times, because those will create difficulties for them getting to sleep. And with their bedrooms, try and keep it as dark and as cool as possible. It's much easier in winter because we don't have to worry quite so much about the high temperatures. And encouraging children to get a little bit of exercise each day. Most of our young people walk to school, but if they don't walk to school, could you encourage them to maybe walk to the bus stop or walk to the train station or walk home again? Because actually getting exercise does help them settle a bit better. And then, as always, and even for us, just avoiding those large meals close to bedtime to give their stomachs time just to digest what they need to eat.
Okay, so these are some of the strategies we offer in school. We have an ELSA, which is an emotional literacy support assistant via a referral. We have 2 social and emotional mental health mentors in school. So these are made via referrals. There is waiting lists, sadly, but not as long as sort of CAMHS or outside agency supports. We have a use of a pastoral-based hub if we have maybe some students that come in and are maybe struggling to access a full day in school. We have a safe manager per year group I work very closely with. Miss Piggott, who is our attendance sort of lead for Pupil Premium, she puts in place a 20-day attendance challenge alongside myself. We have 100% attendance postcards, rewards, and we are looking at doing something new after Christmas, which is maybe an URSA group. I'll move on and just explain what URSA stands for. So URSA stands for Emotional Related School Avoidance. It's a large increase since COVID. We have a toolkit that's provided by the local authority. It stands for Emotional Related School Avoidance. So it describes a group of children and young people who experience difficulties attending school. It can range from students and young people who are still attending school but present with anxiety, through to those who have 0% attendance at school for an extended period. Children and young people with URSA often do want to attend school, however, their anxiety or an absence of necessary skills or resources leaves them unable to do so. If you'd like any further information about Ursa, we are going to be looking at holding a coffee morning in the new year. I also include on the next slide some useful documents. These are ones that I look at regularly, working with students, families, young people. There's lots of information online, and that's sort of for all people to access. Young Minds is probably the best one, or Not Fine in School. They have parent workshops and all sorts on there as well. So how schools support Ursa. So I'm the Ursa lead for the school. I was being made aware of Ursa via parents, safe managers, heads of year, form tutors. I would meet with the students and all parents to discuss the barriers to school. We've got lots of useful resources we use inside and outside of school. We look at creating a support plan. We do regular check-ins. Currently, I'm working with around 20 to 30 students, but I feel there probably are more. But I need obviously information from parents, from students, from staff to let me know of who maybe we're concerned about, and presenting with Ursa. And lastly, what to do if you have any concerns. So speaking to key adults in school, form tutor, heads of year, safe managers, myself, asking for help and support in understanding reasons behind your child's reluctance to come into school, and reaching out to other families in similar situations.